Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. Hey, it's me. And my name is Bob Benham. Thanks for tuning in for the latest episode. And I trying to been, I, don't- I- you know, I've been trying to figure out what I want to talk about for this new episode. And there's been so much going on. And topics have been just really I mean, there's just so much out there. So, this one's just gonna kinda be whatever pops in mind, and one of the first things that popped in my mind, when I got ready to talk, today was the Democrats. Eh, have I was watching that DNC convention where they were electing their new leader and the vice DNC chair and everything else. And my God, are you kidding me? Those people are mentally ill. Oh, wow. Anybody that supports them, I mean, what in the world was that? And then they elected that David Hogg, of all freaking people, to be the vice DNC chair. That kid is just out to lunch. Uh, talk about being, I don't even know what to call him. I mean, that kid deserves to be locked up in a mental institution somewhere. I mean, he don't even know what the hell he's talking about. He has no freaking clue about life whatsoever. He's been spoon-fed literally everything that he says, uh, um, to the point where, I mean, he can't even think for himself. It's everything's been just literally, you say this, you say this, you say this, you say this, and that's all he does. That's all he's just he repeats what he's been told. He don't know what he's talking about. Oh, it nuts. And then this other the other guy that's this leader. Well, are you going to do you support this diversity, equity, and inclusion? Are you going to continue with uh, pushing that? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's what we're about. And are you kidding me? That's what you freaking lost on, you morons. The people in this country don't want that crap. That's why you guys lost. You know, your approval, the Democrat approval rating right now is 31%. That means 69% of the country is saying, "No, we don't want that crap. It's stupid. Get it out of here." And you're sitting there going, "Oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue using this." Please. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? People are just these people are absolutely out of their freaking minds. What else can you say about it? Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm totally losing faith in the educate. Well, I have already lost faith in the education system. I lost faith in the education system when I was in school. I mean, I knew what they were pushing on us, and I mean, I was an average student in school. I could have been a much better student if I decided to apply myself. I could have been probably a straight A student. I could have gone to probably any college I wanted to and all that stuff. But I didn't. And so, I mean, I literally just skated through by the skin of my teeth because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't care. Um, I did not apply myself. It was like, okay, it's school. Who cares? I, I didn't care about it. I hated school. I literally hated school. Um, it was just not interesting to me. Um, and I mean, I had a couple of teachers that made things interesting. I loved math. Math was my subject, but the rest of it, it was just like it seemed like they were trying to push something on me, and it was something that I didn't like. Um, and that made the difference, really. Don't push an agenda on me. Teach me facts. Teach me what really happened. Not not hey, this is uh I mean, I understand, like, in history, you're gonna get the winner side of the story. That's just how it is. That's what history is about. You're not gonna get the loser side of the story. That just doesn't happen. But at the same time, uh, you're going to learn bits and pieces from the loser side of the story because it's part of I mean, it's just going to happen that way. I mean, you're going to hear bits and pieces of it. Now, um, that's one of I just the education system's just screwed. And currently, forget it. I've I am so happy I don't have children. Uh, I it was a decision of mine when I was young not to have children. Um, I don't regret that one bit. Um, I was fortunate that I my late wife, she was 15 years older than I was. I was 24, she was 39, and, by the time I had, got with her, she had had a hysterectomy, because she had had a tubal pregnancy that went bad, and they had to take everything out, and, in fact, she had passed away during the emergency surgery, and they brought her back. Um, that was a scary situation, and it wasn't a pregnancy due to me. This was a few years prior to her and I getting together. Um, but I mean, it was a tragic situation, but it was one of those things that it was good for me, good for her. Um, in the long run for excuse me for out of our relationship. um so it was one of those things that it for her and I, it gave us the opportunity to focus on each other, and and that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that I could focus on, uh individually, and she wanted that as well. So, but back to the education thing, uh, if I were to have kids today, um, there's no way I would put them in school. No way. Absolutely no way. I would, if there was a chance that I could, I would find the old history books, old school books, textbooks and stuff, and I would teach my children from those books, and that way they would get more of a good lesson, because they would learn actually stuff that would be pertinent to what's going on in the world, what's going on, and learn about how the world operates and stuff like that. Geography, history, um, uh, that kind of thing. These kids have no idea about any of that stuff. None of it. All you got to do is go on and every so often one of these news shows or comedy shows, whatever, you'll see these man on the street things where they'll ask these kids about uh, countries and or news things or and they have no clue, zero clue. They can't even tell you who's in office. They can't even tell you where a country is at. They can't even tell you. I mean, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. Um, it's scary, absolutely scary. I mean, it's scary as hell. And to think that these kids uh, are in charge of things, are going to be in charge of things. How? How is that possible? They don't know anything. They don't know. Um, and they're trying to make it the responsibility of these corporations and these places of employment to teach them. Whoa, no, that's not the job. That's not their job. Um, I'm sorry. Things are just backward, absolutely backward. And I'll be sitting and thoughts just. I mean, my mind races all the time. It's just constantly going. It is. I wish I could get a break from time to time. I really do. It just doesn't happen. But I'll sit here and I'll have thoughts of like how things were back in the 1800s and how people lived back then. And I watch what we're doing today and how we live today. And we are regressing back toward that. Um, I mean, you look at the way families are living today, kids can't move out and get their own places. They can't afford it. And so families are living together for much longer periods of time because the kids just can't go anywhere. And so it's getting to the point where you're going to have a homestead again. And unfortunately, um, you can't you can't afford to buy any land to have like a big homestead area where you're growing your own crop and all that stuff. It unfortunately that part of it isn't there. Um, but it's to the point where families are having to stay together because it's having to be you're having to be a coalition because you can't afford to do it on your own anymore. You just can't. And then the way the way you have these activist prosecutors and judges and stuff where they're just putting criminals right back on the street. It's going to get to the point where you're going to. I mean, I see it now. Where when I go to the store, I will see people armed. They are carrying firearms on their hips out in the open. Um, and it's getting to that point where it reminds you of the old west then too, because people are to the point where, hey, I'm going to protect myself and I'm not going to become a victim. So you have to be at that point. And that's how it was back in those days, too. You had to be able to protect yourself because there was no law and order back then. And we're getting back to that point. Uh, so you look at how few police officers there are compared to the population of this country. Um, they talk about the thin blue line, and I'm telling you, people, that line is so thin. And it's getting thinner by the day because all these liberal, far left liberal activists that have zero clue, uh, that can't think, beyond the tip of their nose, uh, are creating such chaos and um, just such oh, creating a mess for everybody and for life that um, people are just going to have to watch out for themselves and take care of themselves and take care of their families. And it's sad to see that people are having to arm themselves to be able to just go out to go shopping or to go out and have a dinner at a restaurant. I mean, and you look at all these tapes of on the news of people getting carjacked, right in the middle of an intersection, people busting their windows or running up, pointing a gun at them and yanking the doors open, yanking them out of the cars and these dumbass judges and prosecutors that are just saying, "Oh well, uh, it's not a big deal." It is a big deal. It's a really big damn deal. I'm sorry. Lock these idiots up and throw away the key. I'm tired of it. That's why I became a police officer. I wanted to see these idiots in prison for a long time. There's no reason for them to be out there. And it's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to solve the problems that are out there right now. I don't understand why Well, I do understand why. I understand that our politicians are great at creating problems. And they intentionally create these problems so that way they can sit there and go, well, I need your vote so we can solve these issues. They have no intention on solving any issues, zero intention on solving any issues. Why? Because one, if they solve the problem, then they won't get reelected. Then the government's not needed. So that means they lose out on all this lobbying uh, donations to their funds that are supposed, they have these, all these politicians have these funds where they accept donations from these lobbyists and then, um, you know, the, all their used for political actions or whatever, they have, or they have these charitable don't funds that they can, distribute some of the money here and there, uh, and then the rest of it kind of just goes somewhere that nobody can ever figure out where it went. um, I mean, it's crazy, but that's how they, I mean, they're how is it that we have a president right now who's a billionaire, gave up his status, his businesses, his uh I mean, just everything he had, just said, "Hey, okay, I don't I'm just walking away from this stuff right now because our country's in such bad shape. I believe I need to be running for president to try to help get this country back to where it needs to be." Who does that? Unless this man has a true love for his nation. You don't see that. I've never ever seen that. I've never even read about that ever happening. Now, most of the politicians and the people that have ever become president have come from another office. They were either a congressman or a governor or a senator or some kind of politician from some other thing, and they just kind of, got more popular and ended up becoming president. So they're a politician. That's all they are. And politicians, I mean, like I said, all they do is create problems and then tell you they're going to solve them, which they never do. And they never will. And it's funny because I have to tell you, this is for quite a few years when my late wife and I we traveled for a long time, and during the winter months we used to stay in Arizona, and I'm talking in the remote areas of Arizona. I mean, we had to go 50 miles to go to a grocery store. So we were out in the middle of nowhere. Wonderful though, absolutely wonderful. You couldn't hear any traffic. You couldn't hear, I mean, nothing. It was just beautiful. The when the sun went down at night and you looked up into the sky, you saw the Milky Way. You could watch, I mean, hundreds of shooting stars. You could count the satellites going across the sky. I mean, And then during the day, it was quiet. You could actually hear the wind passing through the trees and the brush and stuff. Unbelievable, peaceful. But it was neat because every morning there was a group of us guys that would get together for coffee, and we would talk about all this bull crap with their government, the problems they would create, and we would joke about it. We would sit there and go, "Oh yeah, well, what would it take to solve this issue? What would it take to solve that issue?" And we would come up with a solution. And we would get up at the end of our coffee, and we would sit there and have coffee for about an hour, just talk. We'd get up and go, "Well, we solved that. We solved the world's problems for the day," and leave. God, I can't tell you how many times we did that, and we would all have a laugh, and we would be like, you know, it's not hard. It's not hard. And we got idiots that are in government that just absolutely refuse to just to do the right thing. They can't do the right thing. And it is just absolutely disgusting. I mean, that's the thing about President Trump right now. People, I love it because the Democrats are losing their freaking minds. They have absolutely nothing for him. All they can do is cry like a baby and just go, "Oh, he's just screwing everything up. Look, oh, he's really done it now. Oh, he's turning into a dictator. Look at this. He's just shut down this USA thing out, and he can't do that. He just can't. He just completely closed it and la 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 la." Yeah, but look at the amount of money he just saved the country because they were doing BS stuff that had absolutely, excuse me, had absolutely nothing to do with the United States. Nothing. Nothing to do for you or I. Nothing to help us. Going everywhere and doing stuff for absolutely stupid stuff for other nations. Putting DEI in Somalia like they need DEI in Somalia. You know what they would do with DEI in Somalia? Execute people over it. Come on now. You know, why are we forcing? Well, that's all the Democrats can do. They force things on people. They just force their BS on people. You can't think for yourself if you're a Democrat. Period. You cannot think for yourself. You either toe the line or that's it. I mean, I had to laugh because of this idiot Chuck Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer, standing there with his Corona and his gua, avocado and stuff. Oh, well, this is going to cost a whole lot more because of the tariffs that Trump put on Mexico, and you're not going to be able to have this stuff for the Super Bowl. Oh, come on. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? Yeah, that's all they got. That's all they got. That's how stupid they are. Unreal. They have absolutely no answer for anything other than just props and stupidity. Meanwhile, Trump's out there going, well, we need to get rid of this because it's costing too much money. We need to save the American taxpayers this for this money. And you know what? The money he's saving is he's putting it back into programs like Social Security, Medicare, things that help you, me, and the rest of us in America. Putting America first. It's not hard. It is not hard. I believe in that 100%. America first. That's that's the way it should be. And should always be America first. None of these other countries, none of these other countries give a rat's ass about us. The only time they give a rat's ass about us is when they don't get any money. If that foreign aid dries up. Oh, whoa, well, hey, wait a minute. We didn't get that money that you guys said you would send. Oh, well, you're not getting it anymore. We need it more than you do. You need to figure out what you're going to do for yourself. Oh. It's like I am so happy he pulled us out of the World Health Organization, which is that's the oh, what a joke these organizations are. That's got to go bye-bye. And I hope it goes bye-bye fast now that he's pulled us out of there cuz they're going to go broke immediately. Cuz the US is the country that pumps the most money into all of this stuff. We need to defund the United Nations and get them the hell out of the United States. Send them to Belgium's or wherever. NATO. That's outlived itself. It's no longer relevant. That was put in place to have a coalition against the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union fell 34 years ago. Why is it still there? It's a waste of money. I mean, yeah, we got a stupid idiot dictator in Putin that's there in Russia. But we got to get it other than that, They need to figure it out for themselves now. And that European Union junk, oh my god. When Brit I'll never forget when they had that vote for Brexit, and Britain voted to leave the European Union. I was ecstatic. I was happy as a clam. I was celebrating like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I stayed up and watched that election. And I mean, I don't do I have a stake in it? No. Other than my family came from Britain way back in the early 1600s. But I mean, that's the only connection I have to Britain. My family's been in the United States since 1620. But it was just one of those things that I was like, good for Britain. It's time. I mean, it's time for nations to just start standing up for themselves and say, hey, this coalition stuff, it ain't working anymore. It's just a bureaucracy and handing power to people that have no business having power because they're ruling countries that they have no business ruling over. I mean, it's like this international criminal court thing. What the hell is that? And why do they have it? And then they go and put this arrest warrant out on Benjamin Netanyahu for crimes about Gaza and all that stuff and for what Hezbollah and Hamas has done to Israel, they're going to arrest him for what? For defending his nation? Are you kidding me? There is some serious issues going on wrong with this world. And there is some serious dumb people in power. And we got to get rid of them. But then there's the sad part where this is what caught me really off, not off guard, but just made me really upset is that you got these younger people, and I'm not talking real young people. I'm talking within 10 years of my age, and I'm 59. Um, that are talking about communism not being bad. And I'm seeing this stuff on Facebook, and I'm going, what? We just we, we just took that out uh, about 30 years ago. Why in the hell would we want it back? Uh, are you serious? And there's links to, they were putting up links to, Communist USA or whatever I can't even remember the name of the website now, but it's, Communist Party USA or something like that, and, um, uh, oh, I get I've got a whole bunch of, websites that I have bookmarked here lately about how like Communist Workers Party USA and or Workers Party USA and social what is it socialist workers or something like that. I got a whole bunch of them. I mean, all I can say is wow, the crap they're selling and how they're explaining it. I mean, I can see how these young people would fall for it. I mean, they're selling a bill of goods, and it's all it is. It's used car salesman stuff. Hey, doesn't this sound great? You this is going to be good if we do this. And I think to myself, how can people be so damn gullible? But they are. They are. And when you sit there and try to have a conversation about it, they look at you and all they do is the name calling starts. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're an Islamophobe, and all the other bull crap stuff that's out there. And I that makes me the most angry because when it comes down to it, when you sit down and you actually break it down point by point by point, who's right? I know it's not the one that's for the communism or socialism or anarchy or oligarchy or democracy. All those people, they lose that argument all the time. Now, the ones for a constitutional republic can't beat it. Can't beat that argument. Why? Because it works. It's always worked. Now, does it get to a point where they overdo it? Yes. And they get it to a point where it's over regulated, over they make too well over I'm trying to think of the word. My memory recalls horrible. And that's unfortunately for me, that's a medical issue. Overregulated, but it's got that's the only term I can think of right now. But it uh, but it has to do with like laws and as well and stuff like that, where it's all too much control and government control at that, which is basically leaning things towards your communism, your where it's all government control, socialism, communism, oligarchy type stuff under the banner of the constitutional republic. And we're in that realm now. And that's how constitutional republics generally fall, because all forms of government fall, all of them, and they go through cycles. It's it's been that way in history forever. That's just how it goes. But that's part of knowing history and knowing how people are. And so you come to expect that stuff, and you come to, as an observer, as an objective observer, you start to see the pattern come into place. And yes, we are in that realm right now. And fortunately for us, we have a president that's trying to roll back that all those regulations, trying to get rid of them, trying to roll back all the bureaucracies that are in our government, get rid of all these different uh, organizations, like, okay, that USAID is one. We need to get rid of like the Department of Education. We don't need a federal oversight for that crap. We need to get rid of the Department of Energy. We need to get rid of the EPA. I mean, there's so many that are out there that are just a waste of money. The Department of Energy was founded in what 1977 as a reaction to the gas crunch from the 1970s, and it was founded to uh, come up with alternatives to fossil fuels, petroleum. Um, have they done anything since then? It's been almost 50 years. No, we're still in the same boat that we were in 50 years ago. So, why do we have that department? Get rid of it. I mean, there's just so many that are out there that we don't really need. The same, another Department of Housing and Urban Development. We don't need that. That is a local problem, and it should be handled by the states and the local municipalities. There is a reason why that the Constitution says that the states have control. It's not a federal problem. It is the state's problem. But they have all this too much where the federal government says, oh, well, we need to take that over. No, no, they don't. No. It's got to stop. When the federal government starts taking over everything, that's called communism. We don't need the federal government taking over. That's just the way we just don't. It's time to roll things back, put it back in the hands of the states and the local governments, the municipalities, the townships, the villages. Let them handle their own problems. That's what they're there for. That's why they have their own governments. It is up to them to figure out the solutions to their own problems. Makes sense, but they won't do it. And with that, we're going to let things go for this episode. Thanks for listening to me do my thing again. I really appreciate it. And we will be doing another episode soon. And that's in between all my doctor visits. Unfortunately, I'm about a month away from having hip replacement surgery. So I'll be doing a lot of doctor visits in between and stuff like that. And hopefully things will go well with that. And but I do plan on continuing getting some episodes out. I am really wanting to do more. It's just been very difficult at this moment because of all this running around I'm doing. But I am working hard to try to get in and sit down for this hour and get this episode and get some episodes out to you. So, with that, thanks again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and please take care of yourselves out there and be vigilant. Uh, God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And please take care. Until the next time, this is Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. I'm Bob Benham, and you take care of yourselves. Take care. Bye bye.